Hey guys, this is Diamante, and you're watching Interview Under Fire.
Diamante,
yes.
I want to welcome you back to Interview Under Fire, and of course, welcome back to Dallas, Texas. This is twice in 2024 that you've been here, and of course, thank you so much for taking the time to sit with me today in this amazing room, by the way. I know people can't see it, but in front of it, there's like an entire empty room. That's just you could do like a private show here if you want. If any artist wanted to. But a popular topic I always touch on with our artists is Texas, and this has always been such a popular destination stop for so many awesome guests that we've had. But having said that, because you came through in March with Starbenders and Nita Strauss, the crowd has always been so great too, and of course now you're here with Palais Royale. Two questions. How are you? I don't think I asked you this yet, since we met like 5 minutes ago. How are you, and how's the tour been? I know we're wrapping it up pretty soon, but let's do a little revisiting, a little reminiscence on how this tour has been. So,
I am doing great, first of all. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm so in my zone right now, which always happens at this point in the tour. You're like, I have my routine.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I'm doing. I feel great. Oh, the tour's gonna end in 5 days. Cool. It takes like 2 or 3 weeks to really get into the zone. You're in the zone, and then before you know it, it's over. But I feel really great. The tour has been really awesome. All the bands have been super cool to be with.
Yeah.
The crowds have been incredible. I have met so many amazing people, and the shows have been so much fun.
And I can't wait to see you cut loose on stage, because you always, out of any opening act, I'm like, Dia should open this. And I just, like I said, I went to Korn yesterday, and you had Spirit Box open, and I was thinking, Diamante would be a perfect fourth band to open this too, just get the crowd going.
Yeah,
and
I'd love to.
With the live setting, and of course we're going to get to that in a second, what is it about Texas that really keeps bringing you back? Because, I mean, like I said, this is your second time here. Dallas has always been a popular destination stop. What do you like about Dallas, Dia? Give me the deets here. What's going on in there?
Every time I've played Dallas, it's always been a great crowd, and it's so important.
I saw the line outside when I was trying to come in here.
Yes.
It was front to back. So
yeah, and Dallas is always a fun time. The food's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's just an overall love for live music in this city, and especially rock and roll music. So you feel that when you're on stage.
And you're at House of Blues about all.
And you're at an iconic venue. So
before we move on, I can't help but ask you this, because I mentioned I was in Houston yesterday, and I don't know how many times we're going to touch on that during this conversation, but have you been to Buc-ee's yet?
Any Buc-ee's?
Just any Buc-ee's.
Okay.
Okay. If you have a story, please tell me.
Oh, I went to Buc-ee's for the first time, I think 72 hours ago, and I walked in and it was pandemonium. There were thousands of people.
Did you go on a Saturday?
I don't remember what day it was.
I wonder if we went to the same one, because I left on Saturday and we stopped on the way to Houston. We stopped at, I forget what it was though. Anyway, the point is, I'm agreeing with you. It is packed.
It's crazy. I walked in, I was like, what is going on in here? My social anxiety went through the roof.
Yeah.
Like, too much, too soon. I beelined for the coffee, and I beelined out of there.
I hear that they call it a gas convenience store turned chain of super travel centers with boast treats like kolaches, barbecue jerky, and homemade fudge. I mean, okay, I just bought a costume there today.
You bought a Halloween costume?
Yeah, I did.
What are you going to be?
I'm going to be the beaver. We're not going to put that in the interview, but just now people know. We have a big following on Interview Under Fire, so I'm sure they'll probably push for Sunny to show up with your beaver costume at some point. Maybe we'll do that down the line. Yes, I did buy a beaver costume. Corey doesn't know that, but I did.
That's incredible.
Now, a couple nights ago, you were in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
Being on the road as much as you have, Dia, which is interesting, because now we're doing this in person.
Yeah.
Remember we did this 3 years ago and talked about nobody was traveling, nobody was going around the States, nobody was going overseas because of the pandemic. How much time are you getting to spend in these cities? Because, yeah, you're on the road, but is there a specific spot where, Atlanta's here, Dallas is here, New York City? Are you getting a chance to spend time for yourself, or is it just go, go, go?
A lot of it has been go, go, go. Especially this tour, there haven't been that many day offs. So it's
Yeah.
like show, 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 show. I did get to have a day off in New York City, which is my favorite city.
What did you do?
That was fun. I hung out with my mom.
That's awesome. Hey, that's
She came to the New York show. She came to
Yeah.
Boston too. And we always go find our favorite French bistro restaurant. And then we did hot yoga because I'm a huge hot yoga
That's
person.
awesome.
And so is she. So it was like total R&R day. It was amazing.
That's probably the most traditional thing you could do. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes people go all out. Oh, I'm gonna go crazy in Seattle. I'm just putting a name of the city out there, but it's like, I'm gonna see my mom, I'm gonna see my families, things that you probably don't maybe get to do normally in daily life, especially considering how busy you are. So shout out to moms.
Yeah,
by the way,
mom,
for
love
being
you,
there.
Mom.
And you know, whether it's culture, fans, and the food, like we just talked about with Buc-ee's, I've seen you perform, and I absolutely love your performances.
Thank you.
Of course, I can go on and on about how your live performances really stand out from a lot of the artists that I've seen. What is it about live performance, Dia, that really brings out, I feel like, the best in you? Because out of anything you've done in your life, I feel like this is where you really are in your element. It doesn't matter if you're playing in a room full of just maybe 10 or 20 people or just a packed house, and you've done both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Can you tell me just briefly, like, what is your favorite part about just touring and just performing live in general?
I mean, for me, it's kind of transforming into this ultimate version of myself on stage. And I don't know why it happens. I'm still trying to understand what kind of process happens in my brain, but the second I walk up there, I feel larger than life. I feel invincible. I feel like I can connect to every single person in that room on a real level.
It's almost therapeutic. I feel
It
like, the
is,
things you're
yeah. It's
describing.
a magical experience. It's something also that I feel bigger than myself in that moment too. So it's that energy you feel when you're on stage, and I try to find it in other aspects of life, but nothing quite like the stage.
You know what else is nothing quite like is your voice, because you have
thank
one
you.
hell of a dynamic range. I've told you this before, but I mean, it's never not boring getting into this conversation because your influences, Dia. I don't know if you had a chance to talk about this a lot. I know in our last podcast we didn't get a chance to talk about it, but whether they're personal or professional, who are your influences? If you can discuss that briefly, and I guess what do they mean to you?
So I really connect to powerful female vocalists because when I was younger, I mean, I still am. I can be really timid and shy. And when I saw them in videos or heard their voice, I thought to myself, wow, these women are so cool, so confident, so powerful. I want to be like that. So I love.
Coming.
What was that?
The drum roll's coming. You're gonna say.
I love especially the women from the 80s for that reason.
Yeah.
So Pat Benatar, Stevie Nicks, Blondie,
Dude.
Joan Jett.
You just did a cover recently too of Pat Benatar.
Yeah, I
is
did.
it Love is a Battlefield?
Love is a Battlefield.
And that's on the American Psycho comic.
Yep.
So that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Can you tell me what that all is about, the American Psycho comic? How did you get that connection, and how did you get that?
So the really cool part is that I was approached to record this cover. They said, we want you to do, so Sumerian said, we want you to do a Pat Benatar song. And I picked Love is a Battlefield because it's my favorite one. And this is before I was even signed to the label. This was months and months and months ago. This was the first time I was ever approached by Sumerian. And I said, yeah, I would love to do that. That's like my dream song to cover. So I did it, and that's actually what kickstarted our relationship and what resulted in me signing to the label months later.
Can we get to Sumerian? Because I believe it was, I think it was August when the signing happened, because I'm going through my notes here. The thing with Sumerian, this has been a renowned label that's been around for as long as I've been alive. And just to Starbenders, Nita Strauss,
Love Starbenders.
I believe Animals as Leaders, Bad Omens, Smashing Pumpkins. I'm getting goosebumps. You can't see me right now, but even like Poppy. What is it being a part of a renowned label like Sumerian to really kick this chapter of your career off?
It's so exciting. And it's a really full circle moment too.
Yeah.
I haven't told many people this, but I actually interned at Sumerian
No
back
way.
in 2018. Yeah,
Dude.
I was just off tour. I was studying in college. And no, I took a semester off college because of the tour. So I came back from the tour.
Okay.
I wasn't in school. I was really bored. So I said, what can I do to fill my head and my time? And I applied for an internship at Sumerian. I was there for a couple of months. So I got to see the insides of how their operations work, and I always really liked what they did. And what's really cool about this new era for me is that they are so supportive about my music that I want to make now and the creative decisions I make. And that's so important for me.
You were already an artist by then too, like 2018?
Yeah, I was signed to another label at the time.
Did they know any of that? Okay.
Well, actually,
okay.
Sumerian did know because I had a song on the radio at that time, and they were like, "Is this you?" Yeah,
No,
that's
wait,
me.
that's so
Why
rare.
are you here?
There's so much I want to. I know we have about 5 minutes left. I know that the cool thing about everything you're saying, you really formed your identity on your own, really, over the years. I think if I'm not mistaken, over 10 years into this, you've had a couple of full-length albums. You had a covers album,
10
which
years.
is really awesome. The handful of singles and these glamorous music videos. And I'm saying that because this is coming from someone who I went to film school for about 3 years. So when it comes to director of photography and cinematography, I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. So when I see your music videos, I think your 1987 was probably my favorite one that you've ever done, just because of. Okay, I have to stop myself because
we're gonna get into a whole rabbit hole. I know.
That's what I'm saying. If anyone doesn't know, please just check out the music video because that's really amazing. You had that debut era, independent artist era. Now your Sumerian era. Now, here's the thing. I want to talk about this tour really quick. This is an important tour for a lot of hard rock and glam rock fans. Let me point that out. You've got some veterans and some up-and-coming musicians from a whole movement of music. I ask a lot of questions about chemistry between different members of the same band because I find those questions interesting, which we talked about on American Dream. But I want to talk about the chemistry between the different bands on this tour. Do you think it takes chemistry to make a tour like this work? And if so, I guess what kind of chemistry do you take with you on the road? You got Palais Royale, Weathers, and then Icy Stars. It's loaded question, I know.
A tour is obviously going to be so much more fun if there's a camaraderie between all the bands, and maybe not every band's going to be best friends, but if you can cultivate a vibe on a tour where everyone is really cool and supportive of one another, it just makes the biggest difference. And what's really cool about this tour is I know that Palais and Icy Stars have known each other for a decade.
Yep.
And I've actually known Weathers for a decade. We grew up playing the same shows in LA, Orange County, the same circuit. So this feels like the ultimate full circle moment where they were where I was at the very beginning, and now here we are on the same tour.
And I want to end on this because Deanna, we've covered a great deal of topics in this conversation, of course, other conversations. It's always great to have you back on here because you being so true to yourself, you make my job easy. So I want to say thank you for that, of course. And of course, you graduating in 2021 really provided a big boost for me emotionally just to move forward at that time because it was a hard time for everyone, but that's an important thing to mention. But sharing your perspectives, I can't wait to see what 2025 brings for you. But here you are, right? Mm-hmm. Over a decade, touring, growing fan base, your relationship that you have with the music and yourself, the results are speaking for themselves. Let me remind you, okay?
Thank you.
If you were to give your 2013 self advice from this version that's sitting in front of me right now, what would it be? And we're going to end it there.
Oh my gosh. First of all, I would write myself a book, but
yes.
I think the three biggest things I would remind myself is remember why you started this in the first place. Never lose that because it's going to get hard. And you need to keep yourself rooted in the reason why this was your dream to begin with. The passion, the love for music. I would tell myself, be careful who you trust. Don't be too willing to just go with what everyone around you is saying and listen to yourself and your gut. And maybe the third one, trust the process. The ups and downs happen for a reason, and the downs are almost just as crucial as the ups.
I'm already thinking like down the line, 10, 20 years from now, this is going to be on like a Diamante montage.
That would be so cool.
With like some kind of like VHS filter or something like that, you know?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Dia, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I can't wait to do this again down the road. Can't wait for new music.
Yes.
I was wondering if like these new singles can serve as a sneak peek into what's to come on our new album, or
They
are we
sure
just
are.
barely scratching the surface? Okay, awesome. Any last words? Anything else you want to say, or shout out to your fan base? This is going to be everywhere. So once this goes live, so floor is yours.
I love you guys. I can't say too much about the new music except that it's the music, it's the album I've always wanted to make, so I can't wait for you guys to hear it. And I will be touring probably all of next year, so I hope to see you at a show.
Dia, go crush it out there.
Awesome.